Hello, my name is Harry and welcome back to Learn English with British Harry. In this video, I'm going to talk about food that people eat in the UK. So there's quite a wide selection of food in the UK, and we can start with going through breakfast, lunch, dinner, and I will also talk about the things that I like to eat. So for breakfast, we have the usual cereal. We also have beans on toast. Now, this is a tradition. So you have toast and you can put beans on top, hence the beans on toast. And if you want to be fancy, you can grate some cheese and put that on top. So it's quite nice and it's very filling. So when I say something is filling, it keeps you satisfied for longer. And with the beans, you can heat the beans up in a saucepan. I personally like to add spices to my beans. So I would add some salt, some pepper, maybe some curry powder, and mix it all up. Sometimes I may add some onions and some chilies. And with the chilies, it's a personal preference. I love chilies. For a long time, when my daughter was born, I didn't used to make spicy food because she couldn't tolerate or handle spicy food. But now that she's a bit older, I like to add spices and chilies. And with the chilies, you can cut them long ways, so they are quite long, and you can take out the seeds to make it less spicy. I like to chop the chili into small pieces and to keep the seeds. So when you are taking a spoon or biting into the beans on toast, you're not quite sure when you're going to get that spicy flavor. So I really like spicy food. And I think it's a really nice and quick and easy breakfast to make. It's very convenient and it's very nice. Now I'm going to have a look and see what ChatGPT says for breakfast. We also have the full English breakfast, and I love to eat a full English breakfast. It feels like a treat. So when I say a treat, it's something which is very special. So I wouldn't eat a full English breakfast every single day. This is because it can contain a lot of fat and cholesterol, but it's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. And so a full English breakfast has eggs, bacon, sausages, baked beans, mushrooms, grilled tomatoes, and toast. And it's very delicious. And you can have something else with it. So I'm just going to check full English breakfast. So you can have, yes, black pudding. So a black pudding is a type of blood sausage made from pig's blood, fat, and oats or barley. And it looks quite dark, almost black, and it's sliced into round circles. And before I knew what it was made of, I would like to eat it. But now that I know what it is made of, I prefer to not have it as full of the as part of the full English breakfast. But the full English breakfast, I think it is synonymous, it is connected to British culture. If you go into many cafes, or even if you are traveling abroad to another country, sometimes they have a full English breakfast on the menu. And it is quite nice when you see this, because when you go to a different country, sometimes you want to feel reminded of your home country, and eating some of the similar foods can make you feel more relaxed, and it can be a stepping stone into trying different foods from that area. So I highly recommend a full English breakfast. It's quite nice to make it when you are on holiday. Even if you are at home, it feels like a special occasion when you assemble all of the pieces of the full English breakfast and you see it on the plate. It looks like a lot of food, and it's very filling. It will keep you full for many hours. So we also have porridge or cereal, as I mentioned before. Porridge refers to oats with milk or water. I do like to eat oats. Sometimes I would make overnight oats, and this is where I would put milk into the oats and then just leave it in the fridge, and the oats soak up the milk and it tastes delicious. I like to add honey and blueberries to my porridge, and it's delicious. I also like to eat eggs. Now, there are many different ways you can cook eggs. You can have them hard boiled, you can have them sunny side up, you can have them scrambled or as an omelette. I like to have them scrambled because I like to add a few different things into my eggs. I like to add spinach and peppers, like different green or yellow or red peppers. I like to add garlic, and if I try to make this as an omelette, when it comes to turning the omelette over, it just breaks apart. So it just turns into scrambled eggs anyway. And this is quite filling. So I like to have 3 or 4 eggs and sometimes porridge as well. Now for lunch and dinner, we have fish and chips. So this is fried battered fish with chunky chips, and it's often served with mushy peas. I absolutely love fish and chips. And even for my mum, her favorite food was fish and chips. So a lot of people that emigrated into the UK, my mum's family went from India to Kenya and then Kenya to London. And a lot of people that came into the UK actually really love fish and chips. I wouldn't say it's my favorite food, but I do really enjoy it. And I think a lot of older people enjoy it because it's more bland than normal curry, for example. When I say bland, I mean it has less spices. So yes, you can add flavor through salt and pepper and maybe squeezing some lemon over the fish. But in comparison to curry spices, it is more bland. But it is very delicious, and some argue that it could even be the national dish of the UK. Another dish that could be considered the national dish is chicken tikka masala, and this is also very delicious. So we have fish and chips, we have a Sunday roast. I also think this is iconic, especially to the UK. And here we have roast meat, so beef, chicken, lamb or pork, roast potatoes, vegetables, Yorkshire pudding and gravy. My favorite has to be the Yorkshire pudding, the roast potatoes. They are absolutely amazing, especially with gravy on top. And again, this is like a treat, and it's a nice way to share a meal with other people. So especially on a Sunday when people are more relaxed, they don't have work, and so you can really enjoy your food. You can take time to sit at the table with others, because in today's society, everything is about productivity and working hard. And so many people are eating on the go. It can also be nice to eat while you are watching TV or Netflix. I remember growing up as a child, we would always eat dinner at 6 o'clock in the evening. And it would be my job to set the plates and to help to cut the salad. And it was really nice to sit down and have half an hour with everyone and catch up about your day. Because I think preparing food and sharing food with people that you love, it's such an enjoyable thing to do. And I think eating food alone, sometimes you have no choice, but to share food with others, I think it's a really enjoyable experience. We also have shepherd's pie. I love shepherd's pie. And this is minced lamb or beef, and it's topped with mashed potato. I love mashed potato. So minced pie is delicious. I could eat it every day, I think, with some spicy sauce on top, and that's very delicious. There's also bangers and mash. So this is sausages with mashed potatoes, often served with onion and gravy. So bangers refers to the sausages, and mash is the mashed potato. This is also very delicious. You can have a variation of this, which is toad in the hole, and this is where sausages are baked in a batter, a Yorkshire pudding batter, and so it's like one massive Yorkshire pudding with sausages in the middle, or scattered around, and you pour some gravy on top, and it's delicious. So those are some common meals to eat for lunch and dinner. Then some very common snacks and street food. We have Scotch egg, which is a boiled egg wrapped in sausage meat, bread crumbed and fried. It's actually quite filling. I don't particularly like it if I had a choice, but like I said, it's very filling. A Cornish pasty. This is a pastry filled with meat, potatoes, and vegetables. A sausage roll. This is sausage meat wrapped in puff pastry. At one point, I would love to eat pies. Now I've curbed that, which means I don't eat as many pies as I used to. But pies are delicious. If you're going to watch a football match, or if you need something to eat very quickly, having a pie is very convenient. This is because you can hold it in your hand as you are walking or doing something else. So pies, pastries are very convenient to eat. Desserts. Now for desserts, we have sticky toffee pudding. This is a sponge cake with dates covered in toffee sauce. Not too partial to that. We have spotted dick. This is a steamed pudding with dried fruit served with custard. Again, not too partial to that. A Victoria sponge, a light cake with jam and cream. And I quite like a Victoria sponge cake because it's not too sweet, and I can adapt it to how I feel. So I can add custard on top if I wanted something even sweeter. And for me personally, I like things that I can customize. So with ice cream, I like to have vanilla ice cream and then adapt it to my mood. So I could add chocolate chips or I could add chocolate sauce to it. Although I do love chocolate ice cream, having vanilla ice cream gives me that flexibility and that option to adapt it to how I feel. Okay, trifle. So trifle, this is layers of sponge cake, jelly, custard, and cream. As you can guess, yes, I do love trifle because it has sponge cake and custard, and having the jelly and the cream, it gives it some different flavors, some different textures. So a trifle is a nice way to finish a meal. It's not too heavy and it tastes delicious. Drinks. So we have coffee, but also tea. So tea is the UK's most iconic drink. There are many different ways to have tea. There are different types of tea. With tea, I'm not too fussed. The main thing is I like to have honey instead of sugar because I'm cutting back on sugar. Then we have beer, ale, cider, and this is very popular in pubs. I don't actually drink that much alcohol anymore. In my 20s, I did used to drink alcohol, not excessively, but when you go out clubbing or meeting friends, or even part of the work culture. But today, I drink less alcohol, maybe once in a month or once every couple of months if it's a special occasion. And this is because I do not like the feeling of a hangover the next day. I think I'm too old for that. I've done that in the past, and no thank you. So those are some traditional foods that are eaten in the UK. I would say specifically England, and in another video I will have a look at some other foods that are eaten around the rest of the UK. For example, in Scotland you have haggis. Now for myself, I can run you through what I would typically eat in a day. So for breakfast, I like to eat eggs. So this would be 3 eggs scrambled with spinach, chopped up peppers, maybe some onions. And sometimes I would have a small bowl of porridge after this. For lunch, I would have some chicken breast that has been chopped up and flavored, maybe with some curry spices or barbecue spices, with some rice and some broccoli. For dinner, it would be some sort of curry, so like a vegetable curry or some pasta. And in between the day, I would have maybe a protein shake or some fruit. So something like mangoes, pineapples, oranges, apples. And as a snack, I would have some Greek yogurt with some honey and blueberries. And I opt for Greek yogurt because it is high in protein. So for myself, I'm trying to eat a diet that is high in protein because I'm trying to build some more muscle and get fit in my 40s before I get too old. So that's my typical day of food. And it does vary from time to time. I do like to have some cheat meals. And when it comes to cheat meals, there is a plethora of food to choose from. There's pizza, fried chicken, burgers and fries, and desserts like donuts or chocolate cakes. So I'm going to stop talking about that before I get too hungry. So what foods are considered your national food from the country that you are from? And also tell me what foods you like to eat for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. It will be interesting to hear from you. So please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.